Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the TheCivShow podcast, where we suck so you don't have to. I'm your host, MoySauce.
Razing Zozo.
Nystagmus.
And we have a very special guest. He was the creator and the guest on Sunday. If you missed Sunday, that's a terrible shame. But we have Foybles for you today. Foybles, how are you today, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Dude, we're always excited to have you on. We're always excited to have anyone from the Civ Give on, because that was a ton of fun in itself, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, it definitely was. Probably the highlight of 2020.
The Civ Give was the best thing that ever happened anywhere. Okay? Anywhere.
No hyperbole,
Anyway.
folks.
No hyperbole. Okay? Anywhere.
Hey, I don't know about you guys, but I've heard from a few people it was indeed the highlight of their 2020. Those are not my words. Those are their words. I'm just relaying the information. Just throwing that out there. Anyways, Foybles, we had a game on Sunday, right? We had a game. Tell us about the game since you made it.
Yeah, I went to some creative realms and pulled out some ideas from the back of my head. So I'm a big player on culture. I love culture in Civ 6, and with it being Valentine's Day, I wanted to kind of have a little bit of a theme there. As you saw in the thumbnail that I made, I had a little bit of fun putting that together.
Yeah.
I decided to theme it on romance languages and pick civs that match those. And so I assigned each of us a romance language civ and forced us to do a culture game together. And what's interesting about that is when you do turn off the different game modes, you can't see certain stats. And that's something you pointed out during the game, was that when you turn off domination victory, you can't see the military strength of your neighbors, which is kind of interesting. But I think it was a good time. Now, Zoe, I know you were a little frustrated because
I'm
Spain,
always frustrated.
Spain wasn't necessarily a culture.
Who are the civs? Who are the civs, Foybles, that you picked for each of us? And for yourself?
So I was Brazil. Moy, you were Magnificence Catherine of France.
Yes.
Zozo was Philip II of Spain, and Nystagmus was Trajan of Rome. So we picked, what was it? Spanish, Portuguese, French, and Latin. The other Romance language is Romanian, but we don't have a Romanian civ in the game. So the closest thing to that would have been Hungarian, but it's still a stretch. So I went to the roots of Romance and picked the Latin to throw in with this. So yeah, that was kind of the idea, was to have something romance themed because we're close to Valentine's Day. Do a culture game because we all know Valentine's Day is a corporate holiday where all the candy companies sell off their excess Christmas candy, their Christmas chocolates.
Repackage it in pink packaging and just resell
exactly.
it.
Happy
This
Love
isn't a
Day,
tree, this is
everybody.
a heart.
If you don't give a gift to your significant other, you're a bad person. So buy some chocolate.
So I hope you guys enjoyed that culture game. It's we always have to adapt a little bit when we focus on just a single game type, right? When you only have a certain victory condition you're going for, you have to kind of stretch yourself, and I had to think of things that I didn't normally think of when I'm planning my cities, prioritize different things. One thing I did was I focused a lot on wonders, at least at the beginning, and then pushed myself to get good adjacencies on my theater squares. And I was going to try and get a religion, but that was stolen from me. Brazil religion would have been great.
That was my crowning achievement of the entire game. Because I'm going to be 100% honest. Without being able to see the military score, I literally didn't see that Zoe was going to declare war on me until I just saw all his conquistadors on my border.
Know? Oh no!
Well, I didn't know what it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I was really deep into the culture game because as Rome, I need to work a little hard, right, to get that culture game going too, right?
Yeah.
Everyone tell I renamed the cities like Zoe can have his tilt cities, but the real reason why is I basically was just doing the guy from Alien, just going game over, man, game over,
Game over, man.
Like Zoe was like, I don't know if he has another army. I'm like, no, I didn't have another army, Zoe. I didn't have anything. I literally had nothing. So,
I had a large
working
army
against you, Nystagmus, because you didn't find Void Singers until later, which is probably the best matchup for Rome. But yeah, that was kind of
I
important.
found Void Singers right before the conquistadors came and crushed my cities. So
What? Wow.
Yeah, I basically just gave up on those cities and formed a defensive line because I was like, yep, I'm not taking anything. The only thing that will happen is all my troops that I do have will die. So might as well just build troops behind these 2 cities. I'm just going to give up, and hopefully it'll take them a while to take it. And so
A lesson I learned being Spain, I chose Defender of the Faith. I do wish in hindsight I'd instead taken Crusader, just because I realized that if you took Defender of the Faith, then I'd be like, okay, well, then I'm going to convert your cities. That'll be my aim as I'm approaching you with this army that's powered by a bunch of missionaries. I will try to convert your cities, and now it's a crusade instead of a.
yeah, I don't know why you didn't take Crusade. Why did you?
I really
I
don't
had
know why
not
you
been
did.
to Spain in a couple years, and I just knew that my culture game for Spain was going to be, I'm going to conquer your culture. Build your wonders; they'll be mine. But in hindsight, yeah, I wish I had done that plan, but taken Crusade, and I do actually kind of wish in hindsight that I'd sent my army to the west instead. I could have crossed the ocean. I could have gotten them all there on my front, and I don't think Foybles would have really liked if that came his way. But no, I chose you because you were closer and thus the easier target,
I guess that is
and
something
because
we
you
should
took my
bring up.
olives. Took my
I
olives.
ended up with the continent to myself. And
Yeah.
no, I did not plan that because it was a randomly generated seed. But I did welcome, both Moy and Zozo coming in and, settling the shores. I had plenty of room. I had a wonder settle.
for us.
Huge
We had
continent. You had a
nowhere to
huge
go.
continent.
No, there was plenty. What I'm saying is there was plenty of room around
Okay.
me. So it was
Okay.
fine that you guys came over and stretched a bit.
Let's all stop complaining that you guys didn't have any room. You had the sea to go to. I was right in the middle between Moy and Zoe, which is never a good place for Nystagmus to be.
Ooh.
And like,
You sure about that? I don't know. It's not what Zoe
Between
told me.
Moy and a Zozo place.
Ew.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, this game's gonna suck for me. Like someone's gonna just bring down the hammer and Rome's not gonna be able to expand. Let's just say that. Like, because I was just like, oh, Moy's on one side and then Zo's on the other, and they're both pretty close to me. Well, I'm losing this game. So
I kind of want to talk about how much military you had, Foibles, because I'm not going to lie to you. I was preparing a military to take over some of your land, and I know that Zoe also had a military. So I'm curious what your preparation was to a military invasion.
Oh yeah, by the time we were finishing up the game, I had field cannon corps almost in every city.
Oh,
And
jeez.
I had built a bunch of cavalry as well, so I was ready. I could have mobilized pretty quickly. In fact, I had some cavalry and field cannons on your borders, but you couldn't see them yet. They were in the fog in those kind of northwestern cities that you settled on my continent.
Mm-hmm. Those I had to settle those, man. I had nowhere else to go, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
just got to
even-
build more
I-
theater squares.
I put some encampments between me and Zozo as well. There's one like right in a mountain pass that would block him from getting to my city, kind of a good choke point. And then I kind of put one towards your cities as well, just in case.
yeah, just to know. Thanks, Sharkster. I'm glad that I look exhausted because I kind of am a little bit, but it's okay.
Don't say that to someone you're trying to impress. It's very I'll just say it's very rude. I've learned that. I learned that in grade 11. I had to learn that the hard way. I didn't know. I learned that the hard way. Have you ever told your significant other, "Hey, you look tired"? How in trouble are you when you say that?
Yeah, you don't say that. That's a big no.
You look
That's a big
tired
no-no.
means you look old.
Or you just look bad. And so it's like, what are you saying? I look tired? Excuse me? Don't do it.
It's okay. No,
Now I feel awful, says
don't
Sharkster.
feel bad. Don't feel bad, man. I'm just poking fun at you. I know I look exhausted, but that's because I have a newborn. It's okay.
He's a newborn. He's a doctor. He's got a lot on his plate. Santa Paws. Ooh, nice mug. I also have a very nice mug here.
Nice
yes, with
Foibles
the
mug. Yeah.
little dachshund little dog.
Yeah, I'm totally not promoting myself here at all.
Well, speaking of promoting
Well,
yourself,
are we before he promotes himself?
Okay.
I just want like a couple final thoughts. We should give a couple final thoughts on
Yes, let's do that. Let's do
on
that.
Sunday. I'll open. So I really did enjoy playing Spain that I hadn't played in forever, and it was fun playing them to their strength, which unfortunately I had to concede the culture game. There was no way for me to show what Spain could do. But I did see that, like, whoa, wow, like my conquistadors, I got them up to like an 84 attack against the city. Like that was pretty cool. That's like a plus 20 attack bonus. So that was interesting. My suggestion would be next time I would take one theme or the other. I would say we'll do a romance game, and we'll all be romance and just play to your romantic strength, play to your romantic Civ's strength.
Gotcha.
Or we do a culture game, and you can still have l'amour, but instead of doing romance languages, which is not romance, that's Roman. It's Roman languages.
Yeah.
Do it like romance of the heart of the culture Civs, where we are all good culture Civs, because then you have an interesting game where none of us is going to really feel war, more than likely. And it would have been interesting, I think, if Eleanor was in that game, or if Congo was in that game. Some of these other culture Civs, I think, would have been made for an interesting time. So I think next time, if you come back and do a culture game, give us all a great culture Civ. And you'll see a great culture game.
I'll remember that.
None of us a good culture Civ and play.
True.
Or that would be fair too. Good point, Nystagmus. Or give all of us the equivalent of Spain.
We all play Congo and first to a religious victory.
Yeah, and because we chose Brazil and France. Foybles. When I by the way, I didn't realize that it was culture game until like the day before. I didn't read the full thing.
That is your fault.
That's on me. That's on me. But that's where I could have maybe saved us some headache or Zo bitter. But by choosing
bad at reading instructions.
Yeah, by choosing Brazil and France are like epic culture Civs. They're like the best culture Civs in the game, and they each have their own sort of take on culture, but they're both so amazing. And then to give me it was kind of mean. It's like, what? Rome and Spain?
I'm sorry.
And you two are you might as well have had that you guys were on the same team, and that we weren't allowed to attack, and anyways, it's just, I love you, buddy. It was a great game.
I hear you. I hear you. And I guess we can consider you like a wild card in that game. You were definitely the wild card.
I was the wild card. I like that.
To your point, though, I wanted to add something. The culture game that we played on Sunday was actually a fallback idea, because I had a different idea. I was going to create a custom map where we all play Eleanor, and it was going to be a heart-shaped map where we all start on separate islands, and it was going to be called the Court of Love. And the only problem was I was working on the map editor, and for some reason it wouldn't pop up in my saved maps when I finished it.
Oh no.
So it was pretty much completely done. I had the spawn points saved on each island, and I had some really fun like regions on the map. But it didn't work. I still have the file, but for some reason it's still not pulling up.
Strikes again.
That is actually so. Here's a play on that idea for you, Foybles, and now you have next Valentine's Day to work on it. There's like this hard continent, all right, but it's like in the middle of the map, and it's populated with AI, and the rest of us are Eleanors, and we're off the continent of the map, and the object of the game is it's whoever can convert the most cities that are in the middle ends up winning.
I like that.
And that's it. That's the object of the game.
I like
We're not fighting. It's like, who love me the most? No, love me the most. And that's it. It's whoever converts the most enemy cities.
That is amazing.
Like that.
That's awesome.
There's still time before Valentine's Day. Maybe
that's
we
true.
can
I got some time to prepare.
Nystagmus,
did you have some thoughts? You were going to say something.
I was just joking around about the update and stuff.
Gotcha.
For mine, I just want everyone to stop picking on Nystagmus. That's what I want. Like, how come it's like I have to go to war with somebody, and it's always Nystagmus. It's always Nystagmus.
Maybe next time I'll let you be Russia or something. How about
that? If anything, you can do the 4-leaf clover map for the Eleanor thing. If you don't need to. You don't need to make your map. And yes, AOC is cool. If Zozo always wears the best gear, where do you get your shirts? So you're wearing a nice shirt right now, dude. I tapped that with magic cards. It's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
geek shirts. It's like this is what Zoe dresses like when he used to go to bars. By the way, this is the type of nerd I am. This is me going out on the town. Would be putting one of my geek shirts on. I don't know. I get them. My big influx of geek shirts was when I went to Anime North, and then more recently just shopping around. What's this place called? I don't recall this place here. But if you like it, I'll start selling their merchandise on the Civ Show.
No. Yeah, dude. Maybe one day we'll get merch, right? One day we'll get merch.
One day we'll get that frame, Moy. We'll get the frame that came back. Yeah, it'll be great.
Oh.
The shirt.
Well, speaking of merch and Foybles wearing his own merch and Foybles, great transition, I know. Let's talk about your ATW challenge. First, let's just pretend I know nothing about it. Give me the elevator pitch. What is the ATW challenge?
Yeah, let me first give you a brief history of where the idea came from. It started last year before the Civ Give. I was thinking to myself, this next year is going to be a better year for me. I just finished building my new PC, which allows me to do so much more. My laptop kind of limited me. I couldn't record and stream at the same time. It was just too much. After building this PC, which I'm proud of as well, because it was my first ever PC build, and I was very nervous, but it turned out just fine. After the PC got built, I started to flesh out my idea, and I wanted to do a playthrough challenge that would take me throughout the year, something that the community would have something to look forward to every time I popped on to play Civ, right? Like, oh, there's this expectation every time we pop on, we're playing this, we're trying to achieve a goal, accomplish something. And it kind of worked out perfectly because when I built this PC, my Hall of Fame got reset, right? So all of my history was gone because it saves to the PC. So the timing was perfect for me to do a playthrough of all the Civs. And I wanted to do something different than the traditional like A to Z or either by name or by leader name or whatever. Right. So I wanted to do a twist on that. So I decided to make it be an around the world thing where we go continent by continent. We go alphabetical order by the Civs on those continent. And it's kind of interesting because once you finish a continent, by the way, we've already finished Africa, you can start to see some themes of the civilizations on those continents, right? And so as we continue to go throughout the year, we're just going to go continent by continent, play every single Civ. And taking that a step further, I wanted the community to be more involved with it. I didn't want it just to be me playing and people watching. Right. I wanted the community playing. So I made the decision to have the community involved and play the exact same games, the exact same setup, the exact same start, all the settings the same. That way we can compare our games to each other, see how we played, provide each other with some feedback and learn off of each other. That way we're all improving as Civ players, and we're having a good time. And we get to do it together. It's a communal thing rather than just me on the screen,
For sure. I know that you finished Africa, am I right? So you've moved on to I don't actually know what
Asia.
continent you moved on to. Asia. So what are you playing right now?
Right now we're on Kublai Khan's China.
Oh dang, how's that going?
It's my first time ever playing him. I reserved playing any of the new Civs that came out with the January update until they pop up in order of the Around the World Challenge. So I've had to hold back. I haven't played Vietnam yet. I haven't played Kublai Khan's Mongolia yet. So this is the first time popping in with the new leader from the update. It's going well. We decided on an inland sea map, and I never pick the Civs. The Civs, my opponents are always random. But we do pick usually the city states and what wonders we want to appear. And we kind of think, oh, yeah, maybe we try this victory condition or that victory condition and what game modes we're going to put on. I'm kind of defaulting to almost always having secret societies and corporations on. I love playing with those together. Okay. Sometimes we do dramatic ages. We haven't done a tech or civic shovel yet. That will probably happen soon.
God, no, don't do that.
So we'll see. That will probably pop up eventually. We still have to do apocalypse mode as well. So I'm trying to find the right time for that. But we try to give ourselves some different variables, like different maps, different settings, and play to the Civ strengths. I want to be able to showcase what the Civ does well. And that way we can kind of learn from the Civ how to play them, how you can do different things with them. And that's how we go about creating the games.
So in terms of, you said you had this planned like last year, right? And so I imagine like kind of the build up to finally being able to do it was a lot. And I'm kind of curious of how your something that I've noticed anyway, how your engagement has been with your community. Has your community grown? Have they been loving it? Have they been giving you feedback? Just how has that journey been with your community?
The response to the challenge has been amazing, and it's definitely taken to the community better than I thought it would. People have embraced it. They've hopped in. They've started to play along with us. Every time we play, the community grows a little bit more. Because of the challenge, we have gotten over 100 people in our Discord server now. The Twitter following is growing. I'm actually doing stuff on YouTube now, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. And the crazy thing is, by the end of this challenge on YouTube, if I'm averaging between like, let's say 10 and 12 videos per Civ, playing every single Civ, I'm going to have well over like 550 videos on my YouTube channel, just of all of the Civs being played, which is going to be nuts. And on top of that, I'm making sure that I'm uploading at least 2 videos every day.
Oh
And
my
so
God. Yeah,
I download the VODs from Twitch and I edit them. And yesterday, no, it was today. Today was the first day I only got one up because the internet went out last night, so I couldn't upload anything. But pretty much every day for the past 2 months, I've uploaded 2 videos to YouTube. And they're just like standard playthroughs. It's just snippets of the Twitch VODs. But I want to be able to have that library that people can go back to and watch, especially since all of these are containing new content. People are going to go back that are jumping into the game for the first time and be able to watch somebody play from start to finish. What it's like playing with the new updates, with the new game modes, with the new civs, and that way people can learn from it hopefully and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. So, have you, just kind of curious, have you ever tried? Because I know it's very similar. Have you ever tried a vector cat challenge? Because that's something that we can relate to. We've done vector cat challenges. I've done one of your challenges as well. Have you ever tried a vector cat challenge?
I haven't yet. I want to. And it's mostly because I just haven't had the time to.
Right. No, you're very busy now. Right.
Yeah. Lots of editing. Usually on Wednesdays, I try to get at least 6 videos edited at night when I'm not streaming. Over the weekends, I'm trying to get. What I try to do is on Wednesdays, I try to edit enough videos to last from Thursday until Sunday. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I kind of split it up to where I edit videos on both those days to get all the way up to Wednesday. So that way I've got 2 kind of points in the week where I can edit, get videos up, and that way I can keep people up to date with the challenge.
So after, I know this is kind of like really future thinking, but like even after this, what's after the ATW challenge? Because there is a finite end to it.
Yeah, there will be. It'll probably be either some kind of new challenge run. I have some plans in the back of my mind that I'm still kind of trying to flush out, so I don't have too much to share there. But I do have a few ideas that I'm going to start experimenting with and trying out. And I think what I'm going to try and do this year is get the ATW challenge finished before the next CivGive event. That way I can have maybe a month or 2 before the CivGive to start promoting for it. And that way that can kind of be the focus towards the end of the year. That way there's not too much overlap. There may be some on YouTube with uploads, but at least with streams, I'd like to get to the point where I'm finished before the next CivGive, and then we can focus on promoting that.
We can't speak. They're engaged though, right? In a back and forth.
Yeah. That's a tall order though, right? To finish before the next CivGive, because I'm just trying to do the math in my head, right? How many? Because it takes more than one stream on average to finish a game too, right? So
yeah, I usually get a Civ done in a week. Usually I can get a Civ done in 2 streams. That equals about 10 to 12 episodes, about 30 minutes each. And I'm technically ahead of schedule right now because I've already finished a continent before the first quarter's over. The only problem being that there are some continents that are very large with lots of civs and leaders. So Asia's one of them, the one we're on right now. Europe's going to be a huge one. North and South America won't be too bad. They're about 4 or 5 each. What's interesting is that the very last civ we play is going to be the Maori, because they are technically on their own continent. Like New Zealand and that region down there, they're on. I think it's either Oceania or Zealandia, whatever they want to call it, but they're on their own continent. So it's going to be kind of a fun way to finish it, is with such a unique civ like Maori. But yeah, I'm going to try. I'm technically ahead of schedule right now, so I'm going to try and get, if I can, if we're averaging a civilization a week, we can get 4 to 5 done in a month. and we're getting, what is it? It's about 55, 54 civs right now. There might be more that come out in March. So
we'll round to 60.
Yeah.
Safe number.
60 is a nice round number. It's rounding up. So
big time, but yeah.
What?
So if I at least get a civ done a week, that's good. That's average. If I can do 2 in a week, that way all 4 of my streams in a week, I can get 2 civs done. Then that would put me more ahead of schedule. So it should work out fine.
And that seems like a grind. I hope like, because I don't know if this happened to you or if this happened to anyone else. Because I on my solo stream, I had to like restart my game because after the January update, my saved game wouldn't work anymore. Or it was working until you got to the deal screen and you couldn't get out of it.
Ooh.
Like it would just like the leader would just be there staring at you, and you couldn't like get out of it. And I had to like keep restarting it. So, oh man.
Yeah, adjusting the playthroughs as updates come out will be a bit of a challenge as well, because there may be times where a save file overlaps with a download or an update drop. And so I'll have to make sure that the save files still work. Because the point of this is that we're going to play it until we get to a point where, yes, we win, we get the victory screen, or there's just no coming back from it. We're going to lose. I don't allow myself rerolls. The only time I allow myself to load up a save is if there's a definite misclick or a glitch or a game crash, but not to go back and test something like going back 10 turns to say, okay, I'm going to switch this up. No, it's a straight playthrough. And so that's why on the checklist that I've made, I've created a checklist that lists all the continents in alphabetical order, each civ on the continent in alphabetical order. I've listed it out to where you mark on that civ whether you won or lost, on what turn, and what victory condition was it. Then at the end of the year, we tally the results and we can kind of tabulate how we did. Like, what was our favorite victory condition, or what was our fastest win? What was our slowest win? How many losses did we have compared to wins? And stuff like that. And that way we can just compare it to the community and just say, oh, yeah, this is our play style.
Yeah, can I already like make a prediction if Bose does your challenge here? So
it's all domination. It's all domination.
Domination. And not forgetting the domination victory. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Exactly. Oh, you're playing India? Gandhi domination. Definitely domination. I am curious, kind of like going way back, because I kind of forgot about mentioning this. You say Culture Victory is your favorite. Is that correct? Am I wrong in assuming that? It is your favorite?
Yes.
So how do you feel about a Culture Victory? Why are you laughing? It's a legitimate question.
No, it is a legitimate question. And like, as Moy well knows, I shared on Good Morning Amenities, which the solo stream Tuesday mornings, my feeling of Culture Victory. I think it is kind of dumb. I don't like how it basically doesn't synergize with every other victory condition in Civ. So it's like a total outcast of the victory conditions. I don't like the randomness of it. I don't like that there is like a numbered achievable component where it says, yeah, you're going to win in 7 turns, but that's never true. And I don't like that there's also the random component where sometimes it's just a giant burst of tourism. You can go from you're going to win in 7 turns to you won. It's not predictable. And that's my main beef about it. It's like, I know it was brought up, like, yes, it's true. I'm not very particularly great at it. I'm still figuring out the math, but it's almost frustrating that I'm like, okay, but so you're telling me diplomatic victory, 20 out of 20, you win the game. Yep. Okay. Religious victory, you got to convert all the other religions over 50% and you win the game. Yep. Okay. Domination, got to capture all the capitals, right? Yep. Okay. Scientific, you got to build all these and get first to Alpha Centauri, whatever, right? Yep. Okay. Culture. Well, so what it's you got to get 400 out of 400, and you got to convert the civs to your culture, and that number is going to go up each time. And then there's a number of tourism that's done by trade, and then there's a number of tourism that's done by this, and then there your wonders, and then there's your relics, and then there's your religion. Don't forget your civics.
You know why
if you have that civic.
Hold on.
Oh my god!
You know why,
oh my god!
You know why you're upset though is that The other victory conditions are static, and culture victory is dynamic.
Yes, I was gonna say that too. Yeah, it's the only one with
So,
the fleeting goal, kind of.
But it's not a
right,
bad thing that he likes the other ones. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. And I can understand the frustration with culture games because they get very fickle. Like you said, you can see a prediction of, oh, you're going to win in 10 turns, and then it switches. Oh, sorry, no, now it's 30 the next turn. It's like, what happened? I still don't completely understand like how to combat domestic tourism and then get your foreign tourism going well. What different things within the tourism world will work better than others? Like, what's going to get you more tourism? How do you boost it? But that's also kind of the reason why I like the culture game is because there's so many different paths you can take within it. You know, there's great works, there's relics, there's national parks, there's wonders, there's tourism from trade routes, and there's just so many different components that could make
and
like you said, a dynamic game.
it's the easiest one to hide.
Yeah,
Right? Like for diplomatic victory, the reason why like that one kind of sucks is that everyone knows you're going for it because you keep on voting with everyone else and you're trying to get all these points up until finally you can start voting for people to lose victory points. And then everyone just like gangs up on you. Domination, obviously it's obvious when someone's going for a domination victory or a religious victory. Culture, it's like one of those ones where like someone's gaining a lot of culture, yeah, but they could just be doing that to go through the civic tree, right?
And you can't
Deciding
rely
how
on the scorekeeper. It's not going to tell you the truth.
yeah, that's true.
17
It's true.
5 turns, 3 turns.
I won.
true.
I did win. I won with the Cree, but it took
I-
me like 300
I do
turns.
get like, the
300 turns,
frustration
man.
of it.
I've had games like that in the challenge as well. I've had past 300 turn culture victories.
Oh, that's
And
so
I
funny.
I get it, but the other thing I also think about too when I was criticizing culture victory at one point was I don't know how else you would do it, right?
Apart from what?
The way they have it right now, right, where it's dynamic, you get tourism and all that stuff. Well, how
Yeah.
else would you do culture victory? Like so someone said, I want you to come up with a culture victory condition. Well, how
Do
would
you
you
remember how it worked in Civ 5 at all? Because I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember how it worked in Civ 5.
In
I can look it up real quick as you guys talk about something.
Civ 5,
I
I think it
can't
was
say
kind of like a
anything about it 'cause I
convert.
never
It was
played it.
almost like I think it was almost like religious victory, and it was just that you were subverting Civ by Civ to your way of doing things, and there was like a score that you ultimately. That's how I kind of see culture, anyways. Is like you're basically it's like how American movies are like ubiquitous. They're like everyone knows who Iron Man is, right? Like whether you're in the United States or in China or wherever in the world, you know Iron Man. That is American culture spreading, right? So I think that's it. It should almost be like religious victory. I get what you're saying, Nystagmus, and we're all saying it's dynamic. And honestly, if they did economic victory, I hope it would be just as of a cluster F as culture victory, because it's complex, right?
Yeah.
And I totally understand that it's a big part of my dislike of it is my own ignorance of it. But that said, it in a game where everybody's going for it and the pool just gets bigger and bigger, the more people going for it, I could see that being very frustrating too, for a multiplayer game.
To your point, Zozo, as well, I've got a section in Discord where people can talk about the challenge, people that are playing the games. Vector Cat's been playing a few of my maps, and right now he's doing the Kublai Khan China one, going for a tourism victory. But the problem is, in his game, everybody's been peaceful and everybody was focusing on culture. So it got to the point where he had to get like 620 tourists or something like that. He has a screenshot of it in our Discord. But and that's to your point that it can get to that. If everybody's focusing on culture, it just becomes unwinnable for everybody.
And maybe that was
I was
the
thinking
idea behind
2000.
monopolies,
Maybe.
right? Like monopolies make you fight over resources so you can get tourism a lot easier.
Maybe.
I was making like 2,000 culture a turn in that Kree game. It was ridiculous how much culture I was making.
It's nuts.
But like, the rock bands, the unkillable rock bands of the Aztecs just kept not dying. And my rock band kept dying. And I was just like, oh my God, why didn't I just go religion? So no, I take the meaning though. And it does seem like if we were all good culture civs, I wouldn't mind giving that a go. Because then all things being equal, things like spies might become really important, or whatever.
Yeah.
So
in Civ 5, culture victory was a lot easier to understand. It wasn't it's still a fleeting target, but at least the numbers made sense. So in Civ 5, the accumulated tourism stat had to be higher than everybody's culture stat. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, tourism and culture. And so as long as your tourism was more than everybody else's culture generation per turn, that was when you won a culture victory. A lot easier to understand that way. Yeah. I wonder why
they made
it
it complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably because they loved the culture game the most. And so they wanted to change it up and give it more, but perhaps they give it too much,
they wanted to make, like, they made tour.
They made tourism. I'm gonna hold the line of they made tourism. Hold those GME stocks, you idiots! Hold.
Maybe that's why Boast loves domination, because it's the common denominator of every victory. Hey, I'll get all the tourism when I own all the cities. I'll also have your religion if I own all your cities. It's like, if I control everything, then I win.
That's how how Spain wins.
So what you're saying is Bose is a control freak.
Now, speaking quickly to corporations, because we kind of had this discussion as well on Tuesday. I think, and this kind of speaks to like the next patch. I hope they do tweak corporations, because I do think that the way monopolies work is a little janky right now. It doesn't, like, and I guess that's okay too, because it's trying to say, well, resource distribution is not, it's not going to be equal in every game. But I've already seen games where like monopolies were next to impossible because the resources are scattered, or that there's only 3 of them and they're all in Moy's territory. So he has a monopoly from a very early point because there are only 3 salts, and Moy has all the salt, but Zo wants the salt.
Of course,
and
you want the
Zo
salt.
can't have the salt. So Zo's gonna make his own salt. Okay.
The dev would say though that is exactly how they want it to work, because then you are encouraged to take the salt away from Moy.
Fair enough.
You can't take my salt away. It just lives within me, man.
But
you can't take my salt.
If that's the case, I'd like to see that, like, spies being able to disrupt that stuff. Like, have that spies can go to and steal that, or get rid of it, or do something with it, because it can't just be that the only way for me to deal with it is to declare war on you.
So once you have a monopoly, you can create a product based off the luxury. Can spies steal that product, or is that not a feature yet?
It's not a great work technically. I don't think that's a thing.
I don't think
it's not
so.
classified as a great work. I don't even think you can even steal relics. I don't think you can steal relics because they're not classified as great works.
You can trade the product if you wanted to, right? If you had multiple products, right, made by your monopolies.
Can you capture it though, or do you have to capture the city?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't gotten that far.
I don't know.
That would be neat if you could move it around.
Corporate espionage.
Because I think that was a component. Who was saying that of Civ Colonization? I think it was the game that, or no, it was It was Age of Empires 3. Apparently, one of the features.
Yes,
Vector Cat mentioned, that you could build a commodity like tea or whatever, and then you could send it to your colonies. And while they had it, but it could be captured, I think it was suggested. So I think that'd be a neater, like, if it was a strategic component that, like, you could move it around, but other people could intercept it. That'd be neat. Or what if you like actually physically had to move it? You could escort it with troops, and then once it got there, sure, it was there. That would be neat if they like, because great works, even I think when you move them around, there's a time period, right, that it takes to move a great work from one place to another. Well, what if this was the same, but like there is a way on the map to actually intercept it? I think that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah,
maybe too complicated, but
that does raise a point. I'd like to see what they're coming out with in February as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that after. Let's take a very, very, very short break from a word from our sponsors, all 0 of them. So
all 0 sponsors.
Oh yeah, baby. That could be you. It will be right back. Welcome back to the Civ Show podcast, where we, all 4 of us, including Foybles, suck so you don't have to. That's right. I went there. That's right. I went there.
Excuse me.
What?
You're excused. It's okay. It's okay to suck. You're one of us. One of us. One of us. One of us.
Speaking of sucking, Moy, it was nice that I won
Whoa.
that game on Sunday. You know.
Oh, okay, buddy. Okay, here you hear this? Tisk.
You
How
know what?
could
It
you
was
say
fun
something
going
like
neck
that?
and neck with you though on that Sunday game. That was fun.
It was fun, dude. We were close. We were so close the whole time. I don't know how you generated more tourism. I think from Great Works because I didn't get a lot. Maybe you got those. I'm not really sure.
I had some great works. I started putting down more national parks. National parks are big tourism
I
generators,
didn't
but
get those.
it takes them a while to build up to that point. Like they start off low and then they get higher. Like in my ATW challenge, the very first civ was Egypt, and we built a ton of national parks. And by the end of the game, when we got our culture victory, there were some national parks that were generating like 35, 40, 50 tourists just in that national park, which is nuts.
Well,
And
here
that was combined with the Wish You Were Here Golden Age stuff.
Here was the difference between my national parks and your national parks. I had to chop my rainforests, then plant the trees, then plant the national park. Whereas you had just to plant the national park because
Yeah,
your
I didn't have to do that.
rainforests had a peel
Better peel.
anyway.
Yeah.
It took a
That's
lot
true.
longer for me to get set up there. But
I was always
moving on
wondering,
from okay, no,
why do
go ahead.
rainforests have poor appeal?
I don't know. I guess that's why people chop them down.
Brazil doesn't. It's not a penalty, right? For Brazil,
It's actually a bonus.
Instead of
it's
yeah,
plus
instead of
one.
being -1 appeal, it's +1 appeal.
Yeah.
I know, but like, why is it like that's like saying like, okay, so only Brazilians can appreciate the rainforest.
That's
which-
right.
Yeah, I guess
That's
Well,
so.
they have
correct.
the Amazon
That is
rainforest,
correct.
which is what people go to Brazil for. That rainforest, they it does drive tourism. Whereas I
There you
don't
go.
think anyone else goes to any other rainforest for tourism. Is that
To
wrong?
I
be
don't know. There's
fair,
some good
but,
rainforest
like,
in Puerto Rico and Costa
yeah,
Rica.
it's
Yeah,
sort of
Those are good
wrong, but
places.
To be
It's the
fair,
same
that
logic
for
that
the
only
other
Canadians like hockey rinks and only Scottish like golf. Okay, it's the same reason.
it's
And
the reason
only
why
Americans
the
like
second
film.
biggest rainforest in the world is in the Democratic Republic of the Congo,
Mm.
and it's not exactly a very stable place to go.
But they have bonuses
that
for
could be
jungle,
why.
right? They get bonuses for jungle.
No. Well,
Well,
They
yes,
got
their
their-
troop,
they
yes
get
and
their
no. They're
special
units.
units.
can
Yeah,
move.
they're
Their
units.
special unit. That's their bonus. That's their
Yeah.
love of jungle.
There you go.
I guess it's not the same, man. Like Brazil's
Well,
use
just
of
like
jungle is
Canada
way
is
better.
not immune to blizzards. Russia is. Canada's not. Same thing, right? Makes sense.
Hey, really
I
quickly
hate
before we jump
snow.
into the February stuff,
Sure.
I just wanted to bring up really quickly with the ATW challenge. Since we finished Africa, I was able to kind of see similarities between the civs. Something to note: it seems like all of the Africa civs do have strong religious and cultural benefits, and that kind of played out in the victory conditions we got. A majority of them were culture games, just because most of the civs had culture benefits. And then there were some religious ones, like Mali was a strong religious civ. We had 2 losses out of Africa. One was Arabia, where we got down to 1 city within like, I don't know, less than 100 turns, and it was just bad. And
Wow.
then Zulu, I was almost ready to conquer everybody, and we got a surprise religious victory from behind from Ethiopia. So there, it's interesting to see where, like, how you look at all the civs on a certain continent, you can start to see similarities in some of the benefits and the bonuses they have, and it's kind of cool to see that as we go continent by continent.
Well, also all the African civs are like kind of older in terms of like their history, right?
That's true, yeah.
They predate like medieval era. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't actually know. Yeah.
For most of them, they would be predated. The oldest one would probably be the Egyptian,
Yeah, ancient era. Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and so would be very old. The oldest like city states that have existed, we don't know exactly, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Mesopotamia versus the Indus Valley. So in Mesopotamia is where the current modern day Iraq is, with the Euphrates River. Back like 10,000 years ago, that region used to be green.
Yeah.
Like it used to be a lot more arable land to farm. And then the other city states that kind of popped up were in the Indus Valley in modern day India. And so I think there's still some arguments about which ones were first.
Was it
kind of,
like
but-
Akkad or supposed to be like the first like Like, although I've heard things that suggest that there may have been cities like even way before that they're finding evidence for. But I thought it was like
surprised.
Akkad or was like one of the first ones.
If you really think about it, like Egypt especially, um, so Egypt is around so long that Ramses II, who's like the most famous or most well-known pharaoh, other than King Tut, who's known only because like he literally was so insignificant that his tomb was not like robbed. But Ramses II, that the pyramids around him at that time were thousands of years old. They were older to him than um, some of the Roman forums are to us today.
I saw that
Right,
not that long ago. Yeah.
their civilization was still continuous at that time, and so it's not like, you know, Rome to us it's like a long time ago, but it was a civilization that's completely unknown to us. It's kind of really detached from us, right? But for them, they saw those ancient monuments as like a continuation of their own current civilization.
Wow.
That's how long Egypt lasted for.
That's
So
kind of a
that's
thing, you know.
Yeah. It's like when you watch I had that moment like that holy moly moment when you start to watch how small we are in terms of like space stars. Like it's
Oh,
like here's
yeah.
us. Here's Jupiter, way bigger than us. Here's the sun, way bigger than Jupiter. Here's Andromeda, way bigger than our sun. Here's this other star, way bigger than that thing. And then here you are, 1 pixel by the way, and it keeps going bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, oh my god.
Do you want to know something that will really blow your mind?
I'm ready.
So all
I'm
that stuff they
ready,
show
yeah.
you is only the observable universe.
Very
So
true.
there is actually what's called the cosmic horizon, that the universe is actually starting to expand faster than the speed of light. And they
What?
estimate
That's sweet.
that if the observable universe were about the size of a light bulb,
Okay.
the actual true size of the universe is about the size of Pluto.
What?
That's big.
That's crazy.
And that's just that's observable. Like that's the folly of light, right? Like
That's why we
So,
have
yeah.
the word unfathomable, right? It's completely unfathomable to our minds.
I just think it's
Yeah, the
really
size
funny
and
to think
distances.
about. Sorry, go ahead.
We're just specks.
There are more stars in the Milky Way galaxy than there are grains of sand on Earth.
yes, but aren't there more cells in the human body than there are stars in the universe?
Yeah.
So
No, not stars in the universe, stars in the Milky Way.
Milky Way. That would make sense.
Stars in the universe? Yeah, right, Zo. Yeah, right, buddy.
well, then maybe atoms. How about that? Atoms. How about that?
Wow. The complexity of human life, our placement amongst the stars, it's just bonkers.
Anyway, back on
Were we
topic
talking
here.
about February? Wasn't that?
Yes.
That was our
You wanna-
next topic. Yeah.
Let's talk about the free February patch. There's going to be an update. We know literally nothing about this update, but doesn't mean we can't talk about it. So, what
That's
do you
right.
think is going to be in this update of the unknowns? We'll call it for now.
I really don't know where to start on this.
Yeah.
I think mostly they try to focus on bug fixes, but they usually sneak in things that we didn't think about. Like the last
true.
free update, the big thing that they made on that free update, I think what was it? Was it December? And
Yes.
the really big thing that happened there was they allowed Ambiorx's mines that have culture to generate tourism. That completely changed the way you could play the Gaul. And that to me was a lot of fun to just fathom that, like having mines everywhere and have mines generating tourism. And that puts them into like high ranks of culture civs, in my opinion, just for getting to flight, getting that tourism on there. Now, it probably won't be as significant as some other things, but still, that kind of blew my mind. But that's an example of them sneaking things in that we didn't think they would do, you know?
Part of that was also the amenities change. The other part of it was the city-state picker. And the last kind of main part was the fact that anti-cavalry units were stronger against melee units.
Yeah, and that's something I've had to adapt to. I've noticed it more and more as we come up against like barbarian encampments. you have to have more than just a single warrior now to take them out. You have to have maybe 2 or 3 units and maybe a ranged unit mixed in there to be able to take out these barb camps if they become big enough. That was a pretty significant change. But yeah, as far as February goes, I really don't know what could happen. I'm trying to think of if there's anything on level to what they did in December, like they throw in some kind of new feature or new setting that could change the way we set up our games or the way we play. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, is this the one that they're doing
It's
the
free.
the Civ
No-
revamp, or is that
No
later?
Civ. No,
Okay.
No,
that's
that's
April.
April.
That's April. We'll get to that.
So if it's free, the last free one, I think they gave us pirates, right?
No, that was a long time ago, my friend.
That was a while ago.
That was like
I don't think.
October.
Are there any talks of like game modes? October wasn't that long ago, man. It was
I
like
think they saved the
No.
game modes for the New Frontier DLCs, right?
Yeah, with the
Right.
exception of texts and shuffles, but they advertised that
Right.
there was going to be a free game mode that month. So
Okay.
not that we're
Not this one.
aware of
So
this
my
month.
my guess is just fixes for how the new civs and the new game mode interact with the rest of the game. Like that's something that they just have to in aggregate see what everybody does with it to see if there's
Okay.
any flaws. So I could see that being
I honestly
something
think they're
fixed.
just going to adjust probably how much tourism monopolies get because
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
people are
Yeah.
winning
should
the
be
game
fixed.
in like at one point I think there's going to be some people who are going to win the game in under 100 turns and it's going to be
Right.
like regular on the regular. So I
Just
think they're
because
gonna
of the
adjust
role, they get lots of resources around them. They just got lucky, you know?
I don't
So-
think they need the tourism boost at all to those luxury resources. I think just the fact that you can build a corporation, it gives you that bonus. I think that honestly is enough. That's a great game mode. I don't think they need a tourism boost at all. I thought it was completely useless. That
You feel like there's
bonus.
enough coming from like the industries that boost like gold or culture, or
Yeah.
science, or unit production. Okay.
For sure. Or even if they wanted to like put more time into it and just introduce every luxury as a unique one, that's kind of hard to do. But I like where they went with it now. I think it's unique enough. And I think that's enough. And the fact that you can build products and ship them to other cities and they get that bonus too, I think that's great. I thought that was plenty. It's just like
maybe
when you see videos of 1,300 plus tourism, it's ridiculous. Sorry.
Yeah.
maybe instead of tourism, because I know where they're coming from. I know I said I was confused by why monopolies give you tourism. It's just like a practical thing. But now I kind of thought about it more, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like when we talk about what's the most dominant culture right now would be like American culture, right?
America, yeah.
And American culture, a lot of things that people associate it with are like usually commercial products like Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola is a
Iron
big
Man.
one. Well, that's like the pop culture, but I'm talking about like
That's the film
consumer
studios.
products, right?
Yeah,
It's
consumer culture.
like Iron Man. Iron Man's a consumer product. That's
Okay.
what that is, right? That'd be movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, well,
Not the same.
regardless.
Not the same.
And so, like to the point where, there were times when France was upset that Coca-Cola was becoming the most widely drinked beverage in France that was supplanting wine.
Mm.
And
Just
so,
for the record, Coca-Cola and Iron Man, there is no difference. Those are just different brands. Iron Man's a brand. He's recognized. Coca-Cola's a brand.
They're
It's
both
recognized.
red. They're both made
Okay,
out of
no,
metal.
they are both brands, recognizable brands.
okay, whatever.
Okay.
And so I think maybe replacing it, like I get why they got the tourism, but why not give just most monopolies give a culture boost, not
Yeah, that's fair too.
specifically
Yeah, yeah.
tourism, right? And so, I just think that that's kind of like a better way to go, like where they just give you,
Or give you loyalty or something. I'd like that.
Yeah.
Or just a
Is it
small,
like,
maybe a
oh,
small
we
boost
got-
in tourism.
We got all the beans. Oh yeah, I'm staying here.
I'm staying here.
I'm not going nowhere.
yeah,
I can't live without coffee. I gotta stay here. I can't go
Get them
over there to
beans.
America. They don't have any coffee over there. I can't live without this stuff.
The one thing I
Okay.
would like to see, and this is kind of like me just being a super whatever nerd,
Nerd.
is I'd like monopolies to start causing ecological disasters
Ooh.
because
Like
that's what
example?
happens. Bananas. Every banana
Mm.
we eat is a clone of every other banana we ever eat,
Oh,
and
I
there's
heard
actually
that,
a fear
yeah.
that there's actually a fear that if there's like a virus that kills the plant, that we would have like a massive banana shortage. because they're all clones of each other. There's like no diversity.
No,
in
I
the-
heard about this. Don't worry. They spliced fish DNA into the bananas, and now they're immune to the disease. Okay, yeah, everything's gonna be fine.
Completely
Is
unrelated.
that real?
I actually did hear that.
No,
this
I think
is
what I said is real. I don't know what Zoe said.
It rings a bell. Look up fish DNA and bananas.
So, I also
getting
heard
into,
So
like, dark
crazy.
web
It's
stuff
gotta
right
be
now.
true.
Oh. I also heard that like you know how there's when you have a banana flavored candy and you have a banana, they are not the same taste like at all.
Nope.
Apparently, the banana flavored candy was the original taste of a banana, and the banana has evolved to a taste of its own because of all of the cloning that has been done. And so
Wow.
now it's a completely different taste
Bananas-
than what it was
so
original
bananas used to-
banana.
That sounds
They
like a
used to taste like
conspiracy
runts?
theory to me.
Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Bananas just taste like run? Wow.
Yes.
we're like
That's powerful.
we're like a jump and like just a little jump away from like talking about chemtrails and stuff. So let's like derail the conversation.
No, hold on. I want to push back on that because it's an interesting point. If you look at the fruits and vegetables of like even like the 50s, okay, they looked different. All right, they have evolved. They're like most of our fruits and vegetables are genetically engineered as
Oh,
like
they're
even a carrot.
huge, man.
Okay,
Look at
a
a
carrot-
strawberry
The
too. Oh my
plant a
God.
carrot comes from is like a flower.
I know,
Okay,
but
like lettuce,
hey.
broccoli, cabbage, they all come from the same plant that we've manipulated
we
over
could be having
years
the
and years and
exact same
years.
conversation in the 1950s because in the 1950s they were genetically modified from when they were first discovered 200 years prior to that.
Sure, but even if you go back 100 years, so 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, the tomato, it's going to taste different too.
It's the
Right?
circle of
That's
life.
just I think horticulture like, but it'd be
Okay.
cool if we could try to replicate a tomato from like Roman times and consume it.
Well,
But
we have to
then,
figure
yeah,
out what
it'd
that
be-
is. But okay, we're running out of time here, and so we're gonna wrap up with this last question here before we end off the podcast. With the April update, we know that 2/3 of all of the civilizations are going to be changed. I wanted to ask this question. I want to start with Foybles, but everyone's gonna answer. Pick one civilization and pick one change or many changes you want to that one civilization that you would like to see in the April update.
That is a good question. I'm not prepared for this.
Okay, then we'll go to someone else. Zoe, do you have an answer?
I'll go. Sure, I'll go. The answer is I want to know what the tomatoes taste of. No.
Oh my gosh.
I
great.
think I'll say Canada. If they did, I'd want to see them get rid of the Mounties and put in peacekeepers
Rid of the
and
Mounties?
have that the
Whoa.
peacekeepers are somehow a militaristic unit that helps you win diplomatic victory somehow. And so something
Yeah,
along
Great
those
notes
lines.
there, Zoe.
Okay. He said anything we want. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Uh,
That's true.
And at the very least, I'd like to see that Canada gets something to do with being immune to blizzards, or something to do with getting things like gold from our strategic resources. Add gold, or like a lumber mill maybe makes gold or something like that. I'd like to see
Lumber mill would make
that
sense.
Canada-
Yep.
I think Canada, because Canada, it's funny. Like someone brought this up. I was reading this thing that like Canada has been around longer than say like modern Russia. Technically, modern Russia is like a 30-year-old state. Canada is now 160 years old. Like it's been
Which is still
around longer
really
than
young.
longer than China. Okay, it's like yes, China is
Oh,
technically
you
an ancient
can't. You
civilization.
cannot
Hold on.
possibly compare those.
Yes. This is the could Canada become a superpower article that I read.
Oh boy.
The modern
Oh my
Chinese
God.
state is actually no Moy. Okay,
I'm here.
stop
I'm
laughing.
listening. I'm listening.
I'm dead serious right
I'm
now.
laughing at
modern
the,
Chinese
and I'm
state,
not laughing at
it's
your.
not the
idea
same
of it.
state that it was 3,000 years ago. That,
No,
it, that
okay,
that
that's
it
fair.
got
That's
to.
fair.
Okay, the communist state of China is younger than Canada. Okay, the way
Yes.
that they've been doing things is younger than Canada.
Yes.
And one of Canada's strengths throughout its history, I think, is financial. I think we have a very powerful financial system, and it's not reflected in Civ. Okay, so forget about the Russia-China thing. Just Canada in
Okay,
general.
okay.
As long as we've been around, 150 years,
You know
we've
what would
been
have been
a
better
good
example,
with
though?
money. Good with money.
Nystagmus.
That's it.
Two better examples would have been that Canada is older than Germany and Italy.
Sure, but it's older than all of them. It's older than China. It's older than Russia. It's older than
So-
Italy. Older than Germany.
I'm pretty sure a lot of historians in China are going to very vehemently disagree with you. They have the longest continuity of any civilization on the planet.
Okay, I won't argue the point here. I'll show you the
Evolution.
article, and you can destroy the article that I read.
I understand where you're coming from. I just don't agree with it. So
Yeah,
That's fine.
like the Mao dynasty has nothing to do with the Ming dynasty. There, it wasn't a continue. This is a destruction of government.
So what is your arbitrary cutoff? Because the United States used to not elect their senators.
I'll share with you how completely different, and that's what it's like. How different the Russian,
This is a
even
fun
the
show.
Russian, like it was a Russian monarchy, then it was the USSR, and then it was the Russian democracy. The Canadian government,
Forgot
Canada
to
has
put
been.
democracy in air quotes with that. I don't.
okay. Can we
Okay.
keep this to Civ? Okay, we're running out of time here. We're really diverting. So Nystagmus, unless you have an answer of what you're gonna think is gonna come out of this April update, then shut up. No, okay. What do you think is gonna come out of the April update?
I just went on a rant. You tell me to shut up.
Oh my god.
Damn it! You both of you shut up. Okay, no, okay. Nystagmus, what do you think is gonna come out of this
I
April
want to see
update?
Frank Columbia. I like when OP things become more OP. So I want to see Grand Columbia to get +2 movement on all their units.
What? Well, Vietnam has it, I guess. So why not?
And I want them to get an extra Comandante General if they're in a golden age.
I actually like that idea. That's a cool idea.
Very
Cool.
interesting.
Okay. So, Foybles, do you got one?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I've got a couple
Okay.
things real quick. First of all, my boy Freddy, my doppelganger. I would like their unique unit change to something more era specific to him, because when you look at most of the leaders, their unique units fit within their dynasty, like when they were
Mhm.
ruling. But
Mhm.
you never saw U-boats when the Roman Emperor Frederick was in control, right? I feel like if they
Right.
had some kind of unique knight or something, that would be better fitting than a U-boat with a German emperor leading the empire. So I would like to see that change, because I don't think anybody ever builds U-boats really, unless it's just for era score. I would also like to see some changes to the what are they called? Oh gosh, the beliefs, like the beliefs you first get in the game.
Pantheon?
Pantheon. There we go.
Yes. Yes.
I still think that about 3/4 of the pantheons never get used, and I would like it
There are a
changed to
lot
where
of
it's a more difficult decision to make, because you've got so many good choices. Right now, there's just not like that. There's probably about, I would say, 6 or 7 that people tend to go to,
Mhm.
and they've done some changes to pantheons, but I still think there's a lot of work, a lot of improvement there. Last thing, if I can remember it, hopefully I can. Oh yes. At that point, I guess this kind of falls more in line with what could be maybe the last Civ in the game as well, that comes
Okay.
out with the March final update
Okay.
for the New Frontier Pass. I would like to see a Vatican state. And I say this
Mhm.
because there's a member of our community who actually went ahead and took the time and created very specific, detailed structure of their abilities, unique units, things they can do. And it's
Okay.
actually in my Discord if you wanted to go read it under game suggestions. And
Okay.
I think it'd be really cool to see a Vatican state that's similar to what Venice was like was that Civ 5, I think, right? Where it's a very unique play style, very religious, very gold based, stuff like that. So there's my thoughts.
I can see it as a game mode.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the game, because like in Civ 4, it had the papacy sort of idea that like eventually you have the Congress of your faith would come together, and it
Gotcha.
would pass laws almost like the World Congress would, but it was only the faithful that had to abide by those rules.
Interesting.
That'd be interesting if they added a component like that, maybe to the War and Peace mode that
Maybe that you're predicting. Yeah, the all-out war or whatever.
all out war,
Gotcha.
total war.
So I'm gonna take a hot take here. Maybe a hot take for some people, maybe not a hot take for others. But man, I want them to change Georgia, and I want them to change Tamar, because I just want them for the meme, just for the meme alone, to make Georgia literally like the greatest civ in the last year of civilization. Just to be like, F you guys, we're going to have Tamar be the greatest people and everyone's going to play it because they're going to be a huge deal. I want them to be like, they only need half of the points to get into a golden age. Like something just dumb. Like something completely ridiculous. Either that, or they get all their buildings automatically start with a wall, or ancient wall, or unique ancient wall instead of a unique Renaissance wall. That would be really cool. Like I just want Tamar to be good.
Let them have spillover. I think would make it work.
Or
so if you go beyond your golden age and you have like 10 extra points, you get to keep those 10 extra points in the next stage.
Okay, that's fair too. Okay. It's more fair than
I would say just make their walls like super OP. Make their Renaissance walls equivalent to having steel.
Ooh.
Or that they get an extra level of wall after steel.
Or maybe an extra defensive attack too from your walls.
Like, what if
that's good too.
It was just like a wall bonus, like all of their walls get.
Funny
like
enough, with the better
bonus.
balanced game mod for CPL, they actually do make her walls ancient era unique walls.
Look at that! Look, see, and I see her picked sometimes in BBG. Look, that's all you got to do.
Yeah,
I like her diplomacy with city state. I think that's awesome. If they're the majority religion, you get double, or you get 2 envoys, and then with owls, you get 3 envoys with 1 trade route. Oh my god, it's amazing.
Yeah, Sarge tuned in at the right time.
It's just the right moment. Yeah, you found it.
I want Tamar to be an undisputable S tier civilization by the April 2021. You heard it here first. It's gonna happen, and I'm gonna feel good because I'm gonna put my arms in the air as in a Bose V, and I'm gonna just hail the sun, and that's all I'm gonna do for like an entire year until Civ 7 comes out. Just Tamar. All right. Anyways, awesome. Foybles, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on Sunday, and an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. Before we end, please tell us where people can find you and your content.
Yes, you can find me at twitch.tv/Foybles, streaming 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard. I also have a YouTube channel where we're pumping out all of our Around the World Playthrough Challenge videos. And of course, joining us on the challenge would be great. If you want to, you can come join us in our Discord, Foybles Empire. And in Discord, you can grab the game keys and the game settings, everything you need to play the same games that we're playing on stream for the challenge, and download the checklist so you can mark your wins, your losses, everything else you're doing in the challenge with us. That way, towards the end of the year, we can tabulate our results, talk about how things went, compare and contrast, learn off of each other, try new strategies. That's kind of the whole spiel about that challenge is just having fun together and learning together more about the game. So also I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, mostly on Twitter though. And that's where I usually do most of my social interactions. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. We're wrapping it up, right, Moy?
Yeah, that's correct.
Didn't you want to tell us about that Twitter that you're so interested in these days?
Oh, I love Twitter. Twitter's amazing, man. It's where you can interact with the coolest people. The coolest people are on Twitter. Only, like, if you are if you are an 8 out of 10, you are on Twitter. So everybody who's cool is on Twitter, and you gotta follow when you're on Twitter. You gotta follow the Civ Show. It's because it's where you get all your civilization content and the Civ Show updates. And anybody who participated in the Civ Give, you're gonna get their updates too, because we like to retweet people like Foybles and 100 Games and Bose and the others that were in there. There was a lot more. I'm just not gonna name them. I'm sorry if I didn't. A lot more other ones in there. So follow us on Twitter at TheCivShow.
And Nystagmus, that tube invention of yours, that's panning out well, right? You're like a billionaire now?
Close, almost Basil bucks. So if you want to check out our other content, you can check us out on YouTube at The Civ Show. I make a series that's a little bit more historically focused on the different leaders of the game. Zoe makes his Razing reviews. You can catch all of our VODs on there as well. And Moy also makes reaction videos pretty regularly on that channel, on the channel as well. So definitely check that out. Give us a subscribe. Ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
And where should people go if they really want to get to know us on a real deep level?
I'm glad you asked. On
Yeah.
a more intimate level, if you want to connect with the Civ Show community,
Ooh.
join us on our Discord chat, our Discord channel. It's the watering hole of civilization, really. And it's where all the Civ Show community comes to gather, exchange ideas, trade memes, show pet pics, and all the rest of it from week to week. And then, of course, guys, we now have 5 days of Civ Show. That's 5 days of Civ Show, starting every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at the Civ Show on Twitch. Then we've got afternoon tea on Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do believe, with our good friend Nystagmus. Good morning amenities with yours truly, aiming usually for 9 a.m. Tuesdays Eastern Standard Time. Moy has Civ at night or Civ after dark. Okay, I think they're rebranding right now. Where at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can get together with Moy, some Civ, crack open a beer, have a good time. And then, of course, we end the week with the great podcast where you can get all your most recent Civ Show information and see Foybles and all the amazing people that visit the Civ Show on a weekly basis. And that's that. That's that. So thank you again, Foybles, for being on today. Thank you for your amazing game. Always love having you on the show. Can't wait for the next time, especially if it's a two-parter. Thank you, Moy. Thank you, Nystagmus. Are we going to raid somebody?
Do you want to raid Foybles?
I'm not live yet.
Yeah, but
I
you're
would
gonna
suggest
be.
we raid
Foybles,
You're
you
gonna
go
be, right?
start, and we'll
But
raid
you can go raid somebody else. It's perfectly fine.
We don't
Are you
mind
sure?
raiding
Not a big
you.
deal.
Derek, thank God.
Here's what I would like to see.
They're
Okay.
going.
I would like you to go raid somebody brand new,
Okay.
somebody
Brand new.
that's playing Civ
Okay.
and
Okay.
would love to have some more viewers.
Done.
Okay.
For you,
So
Foybles.
Peppermint Butler. No, okay.
Yeah, the Peppermint Butler.
No.
He's got 1 or 2 viewers.
Okay. What about this guy? Major Hiccups. He's like the last person I can
Yes, love the
possibly
name.
pick. And he's playing. Oh, he's got a laggy PC though.
Oh.
All right. You know what?
Somebody with a less laggy PC?
It's not so bad.
All right, then Moy,
it's not
make
so
the
bad.
executive decision.
We're doing it. We're doing it. Major Hiccups. We're gonna raid Major Hiccups here. All right, guys. Let's say
All right.
goodbye.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks for having me.